We start off the final 4 events of the Tournament of Speed 2024 with an amazing, new and unique event that has never really been seen in any other league before. It is me, Azor, commentating for this league with Marble Billiards up for the 13th event, the demonstration committee showing how it's done. The goal is for a duel of marbles. They will have to knock down as many marbles as they can on the board and beat their rival or a competitor in the match. It will be bracket style, so we'll see a lot of unique matchups here, as well as because it is seeded, as you can see there. First goes against 16th, second goes against 15th, and so on and so forth. There's definitely gonna be some interesting matchups here, and we start off with Burning Ember in dead last in the standings, and Plastic Blue, who is leading by a very good margin. Can Burning Ember pull an upset here? They do land a pretty decent hit, but can Plastic Blue do something better? It does seem so, but it is kind of close. But I think it will be Plastic Blue with a 17-14. Burning Ember missed a lot of marbles there, bunched up in the top of our screen. And Dark Diamond now against Magentanic. Dark Diamond does knock off a few, veering to the bottom side of our view. But Dark Diamond, does similar to Burning Ember, but can Magentanic do something better? It's gonna be very close. Who's gonna get it? It's gonna be Dark Diamond. 17-16 by only 1 point. Looks to be somewhat of an upset here. Can Banana Split do the same against Light Plains, who is third in the standings? They both have decent hits there. But can Banana Split do something here? Look at that. Pretty great hit there. Can Light Plains do something better? No! Straight in the middle. Misses a lot of those marbles bunched up near the sides of the board. And as a result, they will lose against Banana Split. 5-star and Cheetah up next. 5-star with a decent hit, making sure it's more bunched up in the middle to not replicate what Light Plains did in the earlier rounds. 5-star does miss a few marbles on those second hit, but can Cheetah do something better? It doesn't seem so, because Cheetah missed a lot of marbles there in the top part near the side. Yeah, 15-18. 5-star will advance to the quarterfinals. Cat Eye and Black Hole up next. And Cat Eye looks to be missing a few marbles there in the top, but otherwise pretty bunched up marbles there after that first hit. Can Cat Eye do something with this? No! They hit on one of those marbles that are not within the bunch, and it loses all of those possible force that could be transferred to the other marbles for them to fall off the board. Missing a huge chunk of those really becomes detrimental, as you can see. 21-13. That is not a sizable. That is a very sizable lead from Black Hole, I think. Yeah, Black Hole. Melman and Fungi Fighter up next. With a bit of a bounce there for Melman's first hit. Fungi Fighter does have a slightly more range, knocking down 5 on the first. But in the second, look at that. Melman with a pretty good hit, but will those other marbles keep on falling? The Fungi Fighter does knock off a huge chunk as well. This is gonna be close, but it looks to be Fungi Fighter who wins. As you can see, there are 2 marbles there near the board that just barely stopped before they fell off. It's gonna be definitely detrimental to their standing. It's now Stonebrick and Honeycomb up next. I noticed that most of the marbles, they're bring down the bottom side of our views when they're hitting the first run, but they still have similar results. Honeycomb, oh, misses a huge chunk there in the middle. Those sides proving to be a challenge. They need to adjust their balls there to be arranged near the middle so that all of them can have that force that they need. Limey and Temper Glass up next. Ooh, a big jump there from Temper Glass, but can Limey do a good hit there? Oh, it does seem to be. They do miss a few marbles, however. Can Temper Glass do the same? Not even close. Misses a lot there. 10 to 19. Limey by 9 points moves on to the quarterfinal. As you can see here, Classic Blue against Dark Diamond, Banana Split against 5-star, Black Hole against Fungi Fighter, Honeycomb versus Limey for the quarterfinal matches. A good mix of the top half and bottom half here. Dark Diamond against Plastic Blue. Dark Diamond with a decent first hit, but some of those marbles are not positioned within the middle of the board. Dark Diamond with second hit. Oh, misses due to contact with one of the front marbles there. And Plastic Blue does end up having more marbles off track, and I think they will move on. Yes, 18 to 13. As you can see, the bunched up marbles there, they weren't hit. As you can see, you did see earlier how the second hit, it kind of veered off after contact with one of the marbles. 5-star up next against Banana Split. Seem to be decent runs here. 5-stars marbles look to be arranged near the middle. I think that might be beneficial. Will it pay off? Yes, it will. That is an amazing hit. Only misses a couple of those marbles. What was that, only 5 or 6? And Banana Split just can't replicate that same success, as they only really hit the middle there. 5-star comfortably moves on to the next round. Fungi Fighter. Ooh, look at that. Hitting a lot of the front rows there. Will that be a good strategy? Fungi Fighter though, Black Hole slightly near the middle, but Fungi Fighter veers to the top side and misses a lot of those marbles. That's definitely not going to be good, by the way. I was too busy trying to describe what happened earlier with like Black Hole's hit, I think, or yeah. But Limey and Honeycomb for the final match of the quarterfinals. Pretty decent hit throughout the middle and the bottom part of that board for Limey. Honeycomb with a slightly more pushed forward strategy, but Limey does miss a few of those marbles in the front. But it does seem that Honeycomb misses a few more. That's gonna be close. Yes, it will. Limey will move on to the semifinals against Honeycomb's 13 marble off the board. Now for the semifinals. It's a lot of interesting marbles. Classic Blue and 5-star for the semifinal A. 5-star only pushes those marbles a bit before veering off. Classic Blue a bit off center there. Will that be beneficial? 5-star gets to push a lot of those marbles. That will be very beneficial. I think that's even better than their last run. And Classic Blue only manages to get a few off after that contact doesn't really go as planned. I really want the marble itself that's hitting to hit all those marbles, because they hold most of those momentum. And Limey now with the pretty mediocre first hit, it seems, but it does seem like a wall of middle marbles would be beneficial. Not at all. But that's a pretty bad hit for Limey. Can Black Hole do something better? Yes! I think that's enough. Yes, 11 to 8. Even though it's a pretty bad match, Black Hole secures a spot in the finals. But don't worry, we will have a third place match. Classic Blue against Limey. Immediately here. Let's just wait for the bracket to disappear. Yes, Limey with the first hit here in the third place match. It's pretty decent here. Classic Blue do the same. A bit more of a push-like hit for the first, but it does leave a huge gap in the middle. Limey with a pretty good hit there, only missing maybe 7 marbles. Classic Blue can't replicate it. Misses a huge chunk there on the top side. And I think Limey will gather bronze for this event. 15-21. Pretty sizable win there from Limey. But here we are at the finals. Black Hole versus 5-star. Ooh, Black Hole with an interesting hit there. Misses a lot of that first row. 5-star looks to push those marbles forward. Black Hole with a pre-seed. Not so desirable. Could be better. Oh, 5-star all over. Wow. That was an amazing hit. If I'm not mistaken, did he just like propel himself using one of those marbles in the front to hit the others? That's actually very impressive. And 5-star comfortably takes the win here in event 13, dominating the bracket here. And Limey gathers bronze, Black Hole with silver. As you see back here in these, alright, on the picture, before we get to the final standings, there we go. 5-star, 25 points, I think that's their second medal as well. Classic Blue missing out, but still gathers a pretty huge chunk of points there that can propel them further into the lead, especially since some, if not most of their competitors did not finish well in this event, like Magentanic and Light Plains, who got a dead last finish at 0 points after a terrible matchup. And Marble Billiards podium here, 5-star takes gold, Black Hole with the silver, and Limey at bronze, standing up top of that arena in the podium. And look at this, we already have 4 ineligible marbles that cannot win the league. And it also seems like an 18-point lead for Classic Blue from Magentanic's 144, and Black Hole has propelled to 3rd. That is all we have for today, and I will see you in the wheel descent for event number 14.